Hello, Mr. Fry's geometry class. We're looking at this 7-2 quiz, and it is March 2nd. Let's get on with it. I'm going to give you some clarification, some guidance as you go through this. Let's get going. Number one, which quadrilaterals always have opposite angles that are congruent? Opposite angles that are congruent. So opposite. So if you have a parallelogram, you know, you could think of it, you could draw a parallelogram. Are the opposite angles, arrows, you know, opposite angles, are they congruent? You would check it off if you think so. Opposite angles of a rectangle, are they congruent? Rhombi, it's a square on a slant. Opposite angles, are they congruent? Square, opposite angles, not all angles, opposite angles, you know, for rhombi, for parallelograms, you know, not all angles, but just the opposites, are they congruent? You should be checking, you know, there's more than one checks going on here, okay, for number one. Okay, you could check as many as are true for number one. And you should be checking quite a few boxes there. Number two, which quadrilaterals, and you could pause this as needed, as you're going to need it, especially on the ones where you have to work out stuff. Number two, which quadrilaterals always have diagonals that bisect opposite angles, okay? And you're going to just choose two of these. It's either parallelograms, rectangles, rhombi, or squares. Take a look at number three. If ABCD is a parallelogram, AD is 14. You can see, go ahead and mark this up. EC is 11. ABC is 64 degrees. That whole angle there is 64 degrees. And DAC is 71. DAC, and I put in a little 71 there. And BDC is 25. And I put in a little 25 there in BDC. Okay, so here we go. What would BC be? BC is going to be the same as your AD, okay? So it's going to be whatever you have for, not angle, sorry, for side AD. AC is going to be that EC times 2, so it's going to be your, whatever you got for EC times 2. DAB. If you look at DAB, this whole angle here is going to be 64 subtracted from 180, because remember, these are supplementary angles. This whole angle and this whole angle, they are supplementary. So 180 minus 64 is going to give you DAB, that whole angle. So that's why I have 180 minus 64. Angle ABD. Angle ABD, so this angle right here, you have an alternate interior angle, so it's going to be the same as whatever you have for BDC, angle BDC. The measure of ACD, it's going to be whatever you have for DAB, down there in letter C, minus that 71, okay, because ACD, the alternate interior angle is right here. So that's why we're going to subtract that 71, okay, because it would be alternate interior angles. So whatever you got for angle DAB minus 71. And then F, ADB. ADB is just going to be that 64 minus 25. So that 64 of the whole angle minus the 25 will give you the ADB, would give you this half here, okay? All right, because remember, the opposite angles are congruent. A little clue for number one. Number four, if PQRS is a rectangle, ST is 12, PRS is 23, I've marked that up, find each angle. Well, SQ is going to be that 12 times 2. PR is going to be the same as your SQ that you found up here. Angle, and once again, you're going to have to pause this because I'm going through it rather quickly because I have another test coming up in another class. The measure of QPR is going to equal the measure of angle PRS, which you already know. And then PSR, just all rectangles have a right angle, and unfortunately I wrote the answer down. That's a freebie there. Sorry about that. Okay, so you're going to take SQR. SQR is going to be that, that 90 minus that 23. And you're going to get that other half of that, okay? It's not really half, the other side of it. You know, those two make up that 90-degree angle. And then the measurement of PTQ. PTQ is going to be, since you have a triangle there and the other two angles are 23, you're going to take 180 minus 23 minus 23 in order to find out what PTQ is. It's going to be an obtuse angle. Moving on to number 5. JKLM is a rhombus. MK is 30, and L is 13, and MKL is 41. So I have that all marked here. That's an ugly 41. I had to squeeze it in there, though. Okay. Remember that these are right angles to answer some of your questions in the future. So NK is just going to be that 30 minus 2, or not minus, divided by 2. 30 divided by 2 is going to be NK. Notice I split that up into 15 and 15 anyways to begin with. B, JL. JL is just going to be that 13 times 2. In order to find KL, you're going to have to do Pythagorean theorem. Because you know the 13 and the 15, KL, you want to know this one. You want to know the hypotenuse. So you got to take 13 squared plus 15 squared. I saw in class they were getting 394. You might want to check that. I don't want to... You check yourself before you wreck yourself on that one, because I'm not sure. I did not work that one out, but you would take the square root of whatever you get, 13 squared plus 15 squared, and the square root of that, round it to the nearest tenths, and you got that. JKM is going to equal MKL, and you already know MKL. JML is going to equal 41 times 2. You just take that 41 and double it, because it's bisected. MLK is 180 minus whatever you got for JML up here. Remember, MNL is going to be a right angle. So whatever a right angle is, what number do you use for a right angle? And the measure of KJL is going to equal that MLK, this one that you got for F, divided by 2. Number 6. If WXYZ is a square with WZ being 27, find each measure. So ZY is going to be the same as WZ, whatever number you have for WZ. WY, how do you figure that out? It's going to be, so WY, this whole thing is going to be 27 times squared plus 27 squared, because we have a right angle here. This is the hypotenuse. 27 squared plus 27 squared. You should get 1,458. Take the square root of that. That's going to give you WY. RX would be half of that. So just take whatever you got for WY divided by 2. Remember, you're rounding to the nearest tenth. WRZ, remember, is going to be another right angle. Give me the measurement for a right angle. XYZ, that's going to be a right angle. ZWY is going to be that right angle, whatever you get for a right angle, divided by 2, because you're bisecting it. Remember, the diagonals of a square bisect. That should give you some help for number 2 that you were doing earlier. Good luck on the rest of the test.